welcome to my YouTube channel. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all. How are you all doing? For me, I'm very fine. I thank God for life. Yeah, so today I'm going to be talking about how much I spent when I was coming here. Yes, I'm sure a lot of people want to know so that they make a budget and know how they're going to come up the money that they're going to use for this process. So the reason I'm making this video is not to scare you. Yeah, like a lot of people have been asking me, as usual. People ask, and then we are here to explain and also motivate. So today I'm going to be talking about how much I spent coming to the UK. Yeah, so this is not the standard amount, like you have to spend this amount of money. So this is how much I spent. Someone else might have spent more or less. It depends with where they went and how they did their things. So I'm going to talk about how much I spent coming to the UK. And yeah. So to start with, the first thing that I did was I got a passport. Of course, you need a passport. So if you are planning to come to the UK and you don't have a passport yet, my friend, get that passport. Even if I don't know what, but just get the passport. The time I was getting my passport, I didn't even know that I was going to come and work here as a nurse. I just got it by faith, and here I am. So the first thing you have to put into consideration is the passport. So I just decided to talk about the passport as a by way thing. I didn't include it to how much I spent coming here, but just for your information, you need the passport. So I don't know how much the passports are right now. I don't want to lie. Yeah, I didn't include that in the amount that I spent coming here. So you need a passport. So the first thing that I did was I paid for my IELTS. So like you all know, I wrote my IELTS in December of 2021, on the 18th of December. So I paid for my IELTS in November. On the 24th of November, that's when I paid for my IELTS. So I wrote the standard academic, which is going at 5,270 kwacha. So that was the first, you guys, it was a lot. That was the first money that I spent. Yeah, I paid for my exams. That's 5,270 kwacha. So if you want to come and work in the UK as a nurse or as a healthcare assistant, you have to bear in mind that you have to write the English exam, which is the IELTS. So if you're writing IELTS academic, you're going to pay the 5,270 kwacha. If you're writing the UKVI, you're going to spend 5,800 kwacha. So for me, I wrote the one for 5,270 kwacha. And then the second thing I paid for was NMC. So as you know, you have to register with NMC. That's Nurses and Midwifery Council of UK. So I registered with the NMC, and the registration fee is £140. So £140, that depends on the exchange rate. So during my time, which was last year, I paid 3,100. Yes, 3,100. That's how much I paid. I paid for NMC registration on the 24th of December. Yes, you guys, I did my NMC registration before my results came out, because I just had faith. And yeah, I paid for it on the 24th of December. So I paid 3,100 kwacha. So you see, the first thing you pay for your IELTS 5,270 kwacha, the NMC 3,100 kwacha. And then on the same day that I paid for my NMC registration, I also paid for my GNC verification. So you pay for your registration and then you go to GNC and pay for your verification. So at that time, I don't know about now, but I'm thinking it's still the same. A verification at GNC is going at 3,500. Yes. Yeah. like I mentioned, I'm not making this video to scare anyone. Remember, you're not paying this money at the same time. It's step by step. Yeah, so don't rush, just do it step by step. If you have the money to pay for the IELTS, start with IELTS, write your IELTS. When you are done with IELTS, your results come out, you pass, and then now you can now start thinking about paying for these other things. So I'm looking down because I wrote some things on a piece of paper so that I say the correct things. So the next thing that I paid for was for my CBT. So when you do a registration, you're going to receive a message that you can now go ahead with the test of competence, which is the CBT. So CBT is going at £83. So at that time, the exchange rate, I paid 1,900. Yes, so 1,900 kwacha for CBT, which is £83 because it's a standard amount. And then after that 1,900, I wrote my CBT. Of course, I wrote my CBT in February. Yeah, that's when I wrote it. And then after I had written my CBT and these other things, I then now went ahead and did my TB certificate, because you need your TB certificate. So for TB, you don't just do like you just go to any hospital and then you do a TB test. No, there's a specific place where you have to go and do your your TB test. Yeah, so you have to go to IOM, yeah, International Organization Migration, something like that. That's why you do your TB test. So for the TB test, you pay $140. Yes, so depending on the exchange rate, again, me, the time I paid, it was going at 2,480 kwacha. That's how much I paid for my TB test. And then the other thing that I paid for was yes, you need to have when applying for your visa is your birth certificate. It's very important. You will need it. So I didn't have my birth certificate, so I had to apply for it. So for that, I'm not really sure, but I think I paid the 160 kwacha, and then I also had to pay another additional 185 kwacha because I didn't have the birth record. Yes. Also have to pay for your NMC application. So there's NMC registration and NMC application. So for my NMC application, I paid a 3,800. So NMC application is £153. So it depends with the exchange rate. So I paid a 3,800, and then I also had to pay for my visa. Yes, not because I was supposed to pay for it, but because at the time of application in our cohort, the card had some issues, I think so. So we were told to wait for some time before they could process the payment. But you know, we were all anxious, and then they were like, no, if you have the money, you can pay and then it will be refunded back to you. So most of us were really anxious, like the more you delay, the more everything delays. And we all know that during that time, because I applied for my visa in June, that was now like there was the war in Ukraine, so they were prioritizing the visas for those who are coming from Ukraine coming into the UK. So the visas were taking long, so I didn't want that situation. So that's how I decided to Congola money. So I borrowed. I didn't have the money for the visa, by the way, I can't lie. So I decided to borrow money because I knew that they were going to refund me anyway. So for my visa, I paid a 4,963 kwacha plus a £55 for the biometrics. So when you're going to do your visa, you have to pay for biometrics. So for biometrics, it was £55, and I think that was 1,400. Yes. So they refunded me. They refunded for my visa. They also refunded me for my biometrics. And then I also got a transcript. So for some hospitals, they will require you to get a transcript from your school. That's your nursing school. So I thought it was the same with my trust. So I had to apply for my transcript, which took very long to come out, and they didn't even ask for it in the end. So I paid the 150 for my transcript. Yeah, so I don't know how much, if it depends with the school and all those things. And then I also paid for my police clearance. So you need to get a police clearance. So you just have to go to Central Police and then pay for the police clearance to get your fingerprints and all those things. So I paid the 168 kwacha plus the 20 kwacha for the form. That was how much I paid for my police clearance. Yeah. So you guys, now there's no CBT center in Zambia, so you have to travel. So the nearest country you can write your CBT from is either Zimbabwe or South Africa. So now you have to put the transport into aspect. You also have to consider the accommodation. So you have to consider the transportation from Zambia to South Africa or Zimbabwe, and also accommodation where you're going to stay. Because like I mentioned, currently there's no CBT center in Zambia. And then also, yeah, those are things that you have to put into consideration. And if you are doing your OET, you also have to think about, like, I don't know how much OET is. Yeah, so you also have to think about the amount you are paying for the OET, and also the accommodation and transportation to Zimbabwe or South Africa. Yes, so you guys, that's how much I spent. So in total, and also one important thing is transportation. So you have to move. You are going from one point to another, you have to pay for your transportation. So I think for my transportation, roughly maybe 1,000, but it is even more than that for my transportation only. So you have to put that into consideration. So you guys, so in total I think I spent about 25,596. So yours might be less or it might be more, it depends. Remember, I had to pay for my visa, but you're not going to pay for your visa. Your employer is going to pay for your visa. Your employer is going to pay for your visa. So yours will be less than the amount I spent, or it will be more, because this amount is according to the exchange rate. So depending with how the kwacha is doing, it might be more or it might be less. So how much I spent might be more than the other person, and how much the other person spent might be more than what I spent. So it just depends with the time you're doing things and the exchange rate and the things that you're doing. All right, guys. Yeah. So yeah, you guys, so I made this video to motivate you, my friends, my subscribers, and not to scare anyone, because I've been avoiding this question. A lot of friends have been asking me how much I spent. I've been avoiding to talk about this because I don't want people to be scared because of the money, because this is a step-by-step process. Remember, you're not paying this money at the same time. No, you're paying this money in stages. So the money is a lot, quite all right, but you're not going to remove the money at the same time. No. So don't be scared. No, concentrate on the process. Be intentional, be resilient, be determined, and stay motivated. Don't let anything discourage you. Don't let anyone or anything discourage you, because you meet people who are going to discourage you along the way. Trust me. But don't pay attention to those hurdles. So yeah, so that's how much I spent when I was coming here. So yeah, and everything I spent, you guys, everything that I've mentioned, except for the birth certificate and the GNC verification and also the transportation. Everything else, it was refunded to me. Everything was refunded by the hospital. So depending on your employer and depending on your relocation package, you'll be refunded some of these things, but some won't be refunded, because there are some hospitals that are going to refund your IELTS, they'll refund your CBT and your NMC, and that's all. There are some hospitals that are going to give you accommodation for a month, they'll refund your IELTS, they'll refund your TB, that's all. So it depends with your employer. So what my employer did for me is not what your employer is going to do for you, unless you come to my hospital. If you come to my hospital, you guys, the employer is going to refund you for everything. Yeah, they're going to refund you. That's the beauty about coming here. There's always a relocation package. So when you do some of these things and then you reach a point where you feel like I can't do it anymore because it's too expensive and all those things, I'm sure you have people you trust, people you can talk to, you have friends, you have family, they can help you. And then when you come here, you pay them back. Like in my case, I didn't have money for the visa. I borrowed, you guys. I'm not even ashamed. I borrowed the money that I paid for my visa. When I came, everything was refunded back to me and I was able to pay back the money that I borrowed. So I'm not saying go and start borrowing money from people and then you fail to pay them back at the end of the day. But no, if you can pay for yourself. But if you reach a stage where you feel, okay, I think at this stage I can't do my TB certificate, I'm broke, talk to someone. If you're a difficult person, no one is going to help you. But if you are that person who, when they are helped, they will remember to say, okay, I have someone's money, let me pay back. People are going to help you. And trust me, when you come here and you're depending on your relocation package, your employer will refund you and then you'll be able to pay back your ngongole, your debts. So yeah, guys. So thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Thank you so much to my new subscribers, to my old subscribers. Thank you so much. If you are watching me and then you haven't yet subscribed, subscribing is free. You won't have to pay anything, you won't be charged anything. You just subscribe and that's it. Continue sharing this video, continue commenting, continue liking. I really appreciate. Bye.